much lightning in this. Oh, this looks cool.
Tonight, according to the New York Times, the National Football League players sustained 219 concussions in preseason and regular season practices and games, a small jump from 2022's 213. With this statistic in mind, the NFL has begun working on reducing concussions, which has included some equipment changes and regulations.
Beginning in 2024, the NFL required all positions except quarterbacks and specialists to wear Guardian caps during training and approved them for in-game use. Guardian caps are a padded, soft-shell helmet cover meant to reduce impact and better protect the head.
Now, whether or not it takes away every single hit and every single blow, I think we know that's not the case. This is a high-impact sport, but anything that we can do to take away some of those smaller impacts from, force equals mass times acceleration, essentially. Like, how much force are you getting to the head or neck when you make a contact, and what steps can we take to narrow that gap a little bit, to ease that off? Anything is better than nothing.
Wes Lawless, a concussion-certified physical therapist, said he supported the use of Guardian caps, warning of the long-term issues that come with multiple sustained concussions.
So there's something called second impact syndrome, and then eventually you get to a point where it's kind of diagnosed as chronic traumatic encephalopathy, which is known as CTE, which we've seen as sports have gone on in some of our older adults. They really start to be very uncharacteristic. They can be very angry. They can be very outspoken, very just out of character for them, confused, having trouble with long-term and short-term memory.
Along with protecting players, Logan County High School head football coach Todd Adler said the caps have helped them save money as well, with every player wearing one during practice.
We paid for the Guardian caps in year one, just not having to send those helmets back to get repainted or checked. We got to do that every 2 years. It's kind of mandated for every team to do. So we was able to cut our send back in half, if not more, which ultimately saves us a little bit of cost up front. And like I said, we was able to pay for the Guardian caps in year one, so I thought it was a no-brainer.
While there is no solid evidence as of yet on the true effectiveness of the caps, players have said while they don't look chic, they do make them feel safe.
It was different. We don't necessarily love the look of them, but it does feel better in practice. It does feel better as far as when you take hits. It's you can't really tell it's on there much most of the time. When you do hit helmet to helmet, it's not a loud pop, of course. It absorbs it a lot better, so that is a good part of it.
Now, similar to the NFL, the National Federation of State High School Associations has not put any mandates on Guardian caps during games, leaving it up to the individual programs.
Earlier this week, WBKO received an anonymous complaint saying anti-Semitic flyers were put up on Western Kentucky University's campus. WBKO's Sarah Phipps visited the university to talk with a professor of Jewish studies, as well as a member of Students for Justice in Palestine, to dig deeper into this complaint, and has more in our top story at 10.
Thanks, Allie. Yes, the flyers were up around Cherry Hall, talking on the Israel-Hamas conflict, calling it a genocide. Timothy Quavellin, a visiting professor of history and Jewish studies, says while the flyers may not be directly anti-Semitic, they lack the necessary nuance of the whole conflict.
They didn't mention Israel at all. They left an amorphous they, or they left kind of a, the specter of of a larger Jewish population committing these atrocities, rather than here is the direct leader, here's the direct policy that we're fighting, but rather just attacking a population and a people as a whole by not being specific and purposely leaving it vague.
While Jabber, president of Students for Justice in Palestine, said the flyers were never meant to be taken as anti-Semitic.
Those flyers were statements more than anything. And I think they correlate to what's going on now, especially now in Gaza. And I honestly, for the anti-Semitic part of that, I honestly cannot tell you anything but inaccurate, because those statements on the flyers were hooks to capture the eyes of people, because it is a really harsh reality and the words are nothing but truth.
Jabber added that the subject is an uncomfortable one, but those who are made uncomfortable should join in the conversation.
We are trying to raise awareness and tell people what's going on is an issue, and we're addressing it in the most vulnerable wording to get the point across. And I think that makes people uncomfortable. And if that makes you uncomfortable, I honestly think we need to be more educated and we need to learn about what's going on, because that's the only way where we can learn.
Quavellen agreed with Jabber's sentiment of wanting to discuss the conflict, but disagreed with the presentation, saying the university should keep a closer eye on content being posted.
I think this is one of the things where, it started against, it started by harming the Jewish community, but could lead to anti-LGBT, anti-Muslim, any group on campus. And if the university isn't going to police content, they are just asking for a problem with a wide variety of things being put on campus.
Though Jihad Mansour, a member of the WKU Muslim Student Association, said to call the flyers anti-Semitic and have them removed shuts down conversation on the conflict.
Because if all of a sudden any pro-Palestinian arguments or things that are being brought up are being called anti-Semitic, I think you're just completely trying to shut down one side of the conversation instead of just, encouraging more discussion on campus. And I think especially being on a college campus, you should encourage students to have these kinds of discussions and uncomfortable conversations, because I think that's what it's all about, going to a university, getting educated about things like that. You shouldn't shut down these conversations.
WBKO reached out to WKU's diversity officers for a statement on the complaints and asking if anything would be done. The university responded, quote, "At WKU, we pride ourselves on providing a campus that is welcoming to everyone, regardless of their personal beliefs. Anyone who believes they have received harassing or threatening communication should contact WKU police." Reporting in studio, Sarah Phipps, WBKO News.
And it was just last month the Commonwealth held their breath while area authorities searched for missing 8-month-old Maya Rudd. That anxiety turned to anguish when she was found dead in her family home, leading to questions from the community on why her parents, who had struggled with addiction in the past and had several children removed from the home already, were able to take baby Maya home. WBKO's Sarah Phipps tells us what resources, if any, are available for expecting parents facing addiction in our top story at 10.
Thank you, Casey. Like you said, in the aftermath of Maya Rudd's case, many in the Commonwealth questioned why Maya was allowed home with her parents, especially after her umbilical cord tested positive for methamphetamine. I spoke with Benjamin Benasewitz, an OBGYN with Med Center Health, who said their priority is always trying to keep babies and their mothers together.
So even though we do everything we can to keep mom and baby and the family together, there are some pretty strict hurdles that they have to follow, or strict guidelines that they have to follow, including regular follow-up with social work, making sure that they attend their pediatric appointments and things like that. And if they're not able to follow with those guidelines, then they do risk having their baby go into the foster system.
Though Benasewitz and Nicholas Chirinos, Director of Outpatient Services with Regard Recovery, stress that there's a lack of resources, especially in South Central Kentucky, for expectant mothers facing addiction.
Nobody really wants to stand up and say, you know what, we hear the rest of the United States, we don't really care what they think. What we want to do is take care of our neighbor. That's what we're supposed to be doing, not just because we're a treatment organization, but because we're human beings. We should be looking out for those that are in need, especially our priority 1 population, which is our pregnant population.
Another obstacle Chirinos noted was the mothers themselves, not in that they don't want help, but that they're scared they may be judged when they ask.
Persons automatically think that this pregnant woman is just sitting in some dark alley with needles hanging out of her arm, and instead of wanting to walk through, they already have this belief that if they try to go and get help, that they're going to walk through our doors and just be browbeaten for making an attempt to try to do something different, and really because they're pregnant. There's already this national stigma.
Benasewitz said oftentimes this anxiety can lead to patients coming in only during active labor rather than during their pregnancy. He said doctors will always work to help mothers during and after the labor, but emphasized coming in earlier during the pregnancy can help in quicker addiction recovery and a healthier pregnancy.
We do have, questions that we run through at our new OB to kind of ask about that, but I find that a lot of women a sense of relief once they are able to kind of start talking about it, and I think that's the first step. We can get them on substance maintenance therapy. Ones that people may have heard of are like methadone or buprenorphine, which we do use in pregnancy. And then we can also refer out to other resources like therapy and group sessions and other kind of addiction counseling resources.
Chirinos echoed Benasewitz's sentiment of reaching out for help sooner rather than later, saying early treatment is the key to recovery and a healthy pregnancy. We'll have a list of resources for pregnant women with substance use disorders on our website, WBKO.com. In studio, Sarah Phipps, WBKO News.
Local woman Kaylee Lundy is heartbroken and looking for answers after she claims her dog died after a grooming session at the Bowling Green Petco. WBKO's Sarah Phipps sat down with Lundy today to learn more on her story and how she's still trying to figure out exactly what happened before her dog's untimely passing. It's our top story at 10.
Kaylee Lundy said she dropped her 5.5-year-old Chow Chow Wednesday off to the Petco April 17th for a routine groom, only to get the call a few hours later that Wednesday had collapsed on the table and was taken to Three Springs Animal Hospital.
Everybody just has tears in their eyes and they look at me, and the lady behind the desk is telling me things but hasn't directly said anything about whether she's okay or not. She's like, you can go back in a minute to see her, but she was dead before she got here. I walked to the back and I have to see her on that table. Her body was so hard, and I didn't even know what to think. I just ran out.
Lundy provided WBKO with an invoice from Three Springs, which states Wednesday was unresponsive when she was brought in and had likely suffered from heat stroke. The animal hospital told WBKO they could not confirm the invoice was from Three Springs or that Wednesday had been brought in.
I get a call from corporate the next morning saying that they're sorry about hearing about the loss of my dog and that they offered to pay for the vet bills and that they couldn't give me the surveillance footage. They said that it was their property and they cannot release that to anyone.
Lundy said she got a second call from corporate later on, where she claims they told her an employee involved in Wednesday's groom hadn't followed protocol and was fired.
I have to live with the fact that I'll never know what happened. I kept asking if anybody could explain to me what protocols weren't followed, and she told me that they couldn't give me that information. So not only would I not be able to properly mourn the loss of my dog, I don't know what happened to her that day.
Feeling hopeless and desperate to know what happened to Wednesday, Lundy has been exhausting all avenues in the hopes of finding some answers.
I'm not just trying to defile their name. I just want something good to come of it. I want there to be justice. If there's a chance a lawyer could get the surveillance tapes where I can understand what happened. And I've tried exhausting all my resources, and I'm kind of hoping that something like this, a story like this, will have people reach out and be able to help guide me somewhere that can make a difference.
Lundy told WBKO Petco offered her a settlement if she signed an agreement stating she'd no longer discuss the situation and remove her social media post, which she declined, citing her code of ethics. Reporting in Bowling Green, Sarah Phipps, WBKO News.
Sarah, thank you. Petco released a statement to us today saying they were deeply saddened by Wednesday's passing and, quote, the health and wellness of pets is always our top priority and a responsibility we take very seriously. We have high standards for animal care and safety, including strict policies and procedures to help keep pets in our grooming salons safe and our employees accountable. Following a thorough investigation of Wednesday's time with us, it's clear those protocols were not followed. We have taken appropriate corrective action with the team involved and are reinforcing the importance of adhering to all of our safety policies and procedures. As pet parents ourselves, we know nothing can make up for the loss of a pet, but in an effort to help, we have covered all of Wednesday's veterinary expenses. Our deepest sympathies are with Wednesday's family during this very difficult time, end quote. This is a story WBKO is still investigating.
All right, thank you, Raquel. The first round of storms that we saw on Sunday hit many parts of the viewing area. Here are some shots of some damage in Warren County. The Kentucky Transportation Cabinet said that every county in District 3 had crews responding to downed trees, debris in the roadway, flooded roads, and much, much more. And one of the hardest hit areas in Warren County was around Allen Michael Lane. We now go live to WBKO News reporter Sarah Phipps, who is live on the scene. Sarah, what all are you seeing, and have you spoke with anyone regarding any cleanup efforts?
Well, Isaac, I was speaking with people in the neighborhood. They said about 27 houses reside in this area. I'm here on Aiden Court. A couple different houses have been hit pretty hard. You can see behind me, we have one where the entire second floor is just gone. However, with the storm comes the rainbow, and that is very apparent here. Every neighbor is helping each other. I have not passed a yard that hasn't had at least 3 or 4 cars in it. People sharing power tools, people sharing trucks, doing everything they can to help each other out. And we can harp on safety with downed wires, we can harp on storm safety, but the biggest takeaway I want everyone to have from today is to reach out and help your neighbors. WRECC is still reporting thousands in the area without power. We have people with downed sidings, people missing roofs, anything and everything. So anything you all can do, help. Now, we are trying to keep up with WRECC on responding to those outages, but in the meantime, we are focusing on cleanup efforts. Any downed wires, any power boxes, anything like that, please immediately report to WRECC. It is so important that you are not interacting with those on your own. I've spoken with some residents here on Aiden Court. They have said miraculously nobody was injured. Everybody was able to get to safety, and that's another thing we want to stress is this is the importance of being weather aware, having those radios, having that WBKO First Alert weather app, making sure you are always in the know, not just for the safety of you, but the safety of those around you. Now, I'm going to be trying to talk with some more residents throughout the day, but reporting in Bowling Green, Sarah Phipps, WBKO News.
And the start of summer means the kickoff to county fair season.
We hope you aren't afraid of heights. So let's go over to WBKO Sarah Phipps, who's live at the Logan County Fair right now. Hey, Sarah, how's it going up there?
Thanks, guys. Yes, I am here live from the Logan County Fair in the Ferris wheel. I'm going to have our cameraman Thomas pan out a bit just to show you the full scope of everything going on right now. Tonight's fair was sponsored by Stuff the Bus. They gave the first 100 patrons free entry into the fair. Tonight is also going to be Faith and Family Night. So there's going to be local churches with booths with games, prizes, and of course invitations to those Sunday services. Do not worry if you can't make it out today, though. The festivities are going to be all week, so plenty of time to get on the rides, get on the Ferris wheels, the helicopter tours, and of course, not a fair without that funnel cake. If you are looking for more information on the fair, be sure to visit their website, logancountykyfair.com. We're going to have more information in our 10 p.m. newscast as well, so be sure to tune in for that. Coming at you live from Russellville, Sarah Phipps, WBKO News.
And Sarah, bring us some funnel cake.
And turning now to some hometown happenings. We've been talking about this for a while now. The St. Jude Dream Home giveaway is just 1 month away, and we're starting to see some progress on the home being built here in Bowling Green. WBKO Sarah Phipps joins us live from the Dream Home with a sneak peek. Sarah, how is it looking ahead of this weekend's open house?
Well, thank you, Casey. I do not think our cameras can do justice to how gorgeous this house is. We're looking at 2,100 square feet, 4 bedrooms, 2 bath, a huge 2-car garage, the perfect home for your family here in BG. I am joined with Brittany Key, who is area advisor for St. Jude. Brittany, to kind of start off, we're going to be doing the open houses for the home this weekend. What are some things people can expect from these open houses?
Well, they can have their mouths dropped whenever they come in the door, for sure. Whenever I walked in, I was like, oh my goodness, just seeing it come to fruition. From the rendering at the beginning of the campaign to the floor signing when all of this gorgeous decor and all of the details weren't done yet, and then just seeing it today, it's really beautiful.
It truly is. Like I said, I don't think our cameras are going to be able to do it justice. And you were telling me if you come in, there's going to be some prizes for people at the open houses. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so at the open house, we'll have an open house prize that is strictly for people that visit. So we'll have QR codes that you can enter, and that prize is a $10,000 shopping spree to BG Home Furnishings, who did this home. Like, they furnished it, they staged it, it is gorgeous. And then a portable shed, courtesy of Stormore, and it's in the backyard. You'll be able to see it. It's like a little she shed. It's beautiful.
Awesome. Now, it's a bunch of it's a fireplace. The bathrooms are gorgeous, but I have to ask, what is your favorite part of the home?
My favorite part is the fireplace. It's this like chevron rustic wood that is one of a kind, truly. It's very unique. And then the tile work coming in the foyer, it's just beautiful. Something that I did not expect.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Brittany. And we are going to have more information on this weekend and the following open houses up on our website, WBKO.com. Reporting in Bowling Green, Sarah Phipps, WBKO News. Reporting in studio, Sarah Phipps, WBKO News.